Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to TCG University's Final Fantasy Chapter. I am Noah, your lovely host, brought here with...
Travis, TNT Tangeman.
Hey, look, Travis is back.
Hey.
And,
What is up, homies? Zeth again here, once again on the podcast.
as usual, we have our normal housekeeping to get through. So we're going to go ahead and say thank you guys for watching and hope that you still support the show by linking us at Facebook, subbing at YouTube, enrolling at Patreon, and watching us on Twitch. We're also available on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify. Go out and rate us 5 stars, baby.
Stars.
We can do this without I'm just kidding. And then if you have any other podcast service or what's the word?
Outlets?
Streaming websites.
Streaming sites and outlets, go ahead, let us know in comments, shoot us a message. We'll make sure to see if we can get ourselves added to that. Also, this month, for our $30 Patreon exclusive merch, we have dice bags. You ever tired of just walking around with your dice in your backpack or in your pocket or in your dumb little deck box? Why don't you get a dice bag? Because now you look like a cooler dude. Travis, do you have a dice bag?
No, because I keep them in my deck box.
'Cause he's lame.
I have a compartment for that. I'm not lame.
Nope, because you're lame.
And I'd like to do this one, actually.
Go ahead, Travis.
So
take
we
it
have
away.
a very special event coming up, which is, it's a charity that I really care about personally, and we're doing something for Extra Life. We're going to be doing a 24-hour stream on November 20th through the 21st for the Miracle Kids Network, aka Extra Life, and we're going to be playing some card games, some board games, and doing some giveaways for all you fine people. So if you want to come see this and many other beautiful faces on that, you can.
Thanks, Travis. That was way better than what I could do. I'm glad.
Thank you.
right.
I like it.
Now we have the fun part, the part that I'm always just having a blast at. So we have our junior and higher sponsors. So we're going to go through the names as usual. So we would like to thank Addie, Andrew Dang, Anthony Albino, Bryce Ratzak, Chris Miner, Clay Cardwell, Jacob Arshin Monsieur, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, Jesse Cervini, Jesse Morrison, Jesse Nix. We need like another Jesse at this point. Justin Farce, Justin Hobbs, Kat Maria, Kevin Brober, Kieran Vision, Kyle, somebody help me here. I don't want to pronounce this wrong. Krozik. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kyle Krozik. Lucinda Letica, Orlando Valdez Santos, Paul Casagrande, Peyton Kiker, Ransom MacArthur, Samantha Stevens, the baddest pitch around, Sean O'Brien, and Tyler Zanpees. Thank you guys so much for supporting us and watching our content, even with Travis here ruining it. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
He got back. We got to raise him a bit. He's better than me at like 90% of these games. Also, we have sponsors as usual. We have Cards Custom Build, Ink Gaming, and Dex Protection. Make sure you go and check them out. Let them know we sent you. Topic number 1, boys.
Yeah.
Keeps.
Yep.
You mean like the hair product?
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
You mean like the structure?
Did you really just stroke your hair?
Yeah. Do you not just like run your fingers through your hair occasionally?
Take it away, Travis.
So we're gonna be talking about
Smooth.
what you should keep, what you shouldn't keep, and basically that's about it. So it's like the good, the bad, and the ugly, basically.
Why didn't we just call it that?
Yeah.
To-
Actually, that was a lot more intelligent.
Oh, we
To
should've just
further
called it
clarify what Travis is talking about, we are making mention of what's known as the Mulligan. So when you first start the game, you draw 5 cards. And you then have to decide if this is the hand that you're going to play, or you may choose to put these cards on the bottom and then draw another 5 cards. But after that, that's it. You have to accept your second hand,
Yep.
right? And so when we're talking about keeps, as we're just kind of referring to it as the colloquial term, is depending on the deck that you're playing, the cards for that deck you're going to keep differently than like a different style for the deck.
Yeah.
Even 2 that are built relatively the same have the potential to have entirely different cards that you want to keep.
Yeah,
right?
because there are also certain times where it's actually a player preference and like the way a player plays a deck. So like, let's say
Pilot preference, absolutely.
Yeah, I build the deck versus like Noah builds the same deck. We're probably going to keep different things because we probably play the deck differently.
Mm-hmm.
I already did that.
What?
The good, the bad, and the ugly. That's too far out. We're keeping it that way.
All right.
Stylized.
Probably
Yeah, no,
fine.
you're not wrong though. So like, man, it's really weird when I look at my hand, I go for the most optimal turn 1 play and then just build from there. For instance, with Fire F6, I took him out, but I always look for snow because Snow was just generically good. And if I can get Celeste after Snow, I pretty much had my opponent's board on lock.
Yep.
Really? You keep a 4-cost in your hand that doesn't grab you a card?
Yes.
Interesting. See,
so it doesn't.
I'm a little different.
Yeah. It's not like it's the optimal thing, but the reason it is because when I start attacking, Snow's real good to help push in that damage when I feel like I'm going to need it.
Okay.
And like usually when I play the deck, Celeste comes out probably turn 2-ish. Shadow comes out about turn 3-ish because I should have like 3 or so backups at that point. And those 2 cards help keep your opponent's board locked. So it's easier to push the damage through because the way my deck plays is like trying to keep your board stunned out more so than like pinging things off board or like it gets rid of the hand, but like that's not the main focus.
Right.
So you can go, Seth. That's fine.
Okay. So the way that I play 6, this kind of goes back to that, it's the same concept, but like different pilots operate it. For me, if I were to play with that mentality, Snow's my kill card. Like I want to pick up Snow a little bit later after you're on like damage 3 or 4. And when I play Snow, I'm killing you on that turn or the turn after. I don't want to see Snow right away. If I see Snow right away, that's not Gestelian Empire Sid. That's not Interceptor. It's not Edgar. It's not any of my 2 CP ice backups, right? I want to hit Snow off of my Shadow to ensure that I like fish for him into my hand.
Yeah.
Or I want to like naturally draw into him. Yeah. For me playing 6, I want to see like Edgar. I want to see my Scholar. I want to see Kate Sith. I want to see like those really early like 2-cost backups.
For sure.
And at least get like a fire one down so that way when Shadow comes out, I build a guy and I'm able to snap out another 2-drop backup. After that, the deck can then start kind of rolling into itself.
That's fair.
Now, Earthfire Marsh Ritz, I hard mulligan for Tyro. So, like, that first turn guarantees that I was able to grab Suzuhiza, which lets me draw 2 cards, right?
Yep.
Which virtually refunds the amount that I spent into Tyro.
Yeah.
Or grabbing, like, Star Sybil to be able to either pick up Shintoto or any other 11 character that I was looking for, and then free play whatever it was that I wanted off of him. And when it comes to, like, I'm a bit more mid-rangey when it comes to it. I at least want a couple backups out before I actually just start throwing things out. Travis, what about you?
I play a lot of decks that are very like forward heavy and they like to jam a lot. So the tans that I typically look for in my decks are I want a hand that can play a forward and a backup with relatively little cost.
Okay.
So it's either a cheap forward or it's a like mid-sized forward like a 4-drop or something that replaces itself, like nets me a card or nets me a card over like the next turn or so.
Like a Zana.
Yeah, like that. Another example would be like Zidane. I love just jamming Zidane on turn 1, and then if my opponent answers it, that's fine. They spent their turn answering it. Or I get to draw 2 cards next turn for free, and then I get to start building up. So that's what I do with a lot of my decks, but I think generally it also depends on like what your matchup is, if you know what you're playing against versus if you don't know what you're playing against. So like if I know I'm playing against a slower deck, I'm just going to look for as many backups as I can so I can try to outbuild them, which will end up in me leading the race overall.
I'll use Turks for instance. When I play Turks, the deck in and of itself, I say, can be pretty linear. You usually want to eat 3 damage, build up your chain with Cloud, and then slap down Tifa and sit on that and play everybody else. Your turn 1 best play, if you're lucky, you get Rufus and Rude in hand. If not, you drop Rufus, pick up a Rude, play Rude.
Right.
That's the best you can do. It just kind of sucks that you wasted Rufus' search for Rude, but you do get a forward and a backup, and it's a forward that can essentially deal something 5 or 10k depending.
Yeah.
So to go for one of my examples with the Fire Lightning Marsh Ritz build that I have is that like the optimal start would be me to get down like Gadgeteer and Black Mage because they're both 2-drops.
Yep.
And then turn 2 being able to build either a 4-cost backup or a 2. So that way I have 3. And then on the 3rd turn, Marsh comes out, grabs the Ritz that I discarded earlier. So, like, getting my 2 FFTA guys out, and then Lilty into Ritz. So that way I can get rid of the Ritz for Marsh.
Yeah.
And then build another backup off it and then activate 3 of them. Like, that is, like, the best start. Now, the opposite start, which would be a hand that I would instantly throw away, is if I had Nyx Libertas and my 2 summons, Ifrit and Ramu, and then anything that's not a backup, right? Because Nyx automatically kills himself, so he can't do anything on turn 1. And I am not paying 6 for a 7K that picks up one of the things that I tossed for him, right? If I'm paying 6, I'm paying 6 for a 7K, like, it needs to actually be like doing something.
Why pay 6 for a 7K when you can pay 6 for a 10K? Am I right?
Yeah,
basically.
But yeah, generally if I see summons, that's usually what kind of leans me into I want to mulligan this hand.
For sure. Yep. I do like opening my hands also with backups. It depends on the deck. I like to, if I can get one forward out. Other than that, I would like to just build.
Yep. And that's the interesting thing, right? Is that North America, that's generally the answer is like, I want to open up with a dude that searches me something, right?
Yep.
Over in like Europe, over in Australia, over in Japan, the preference is backups.
Yeah, they play a lot slower than we do. I've noticed, which honestly,
I think that's just card games in general with us.
That's for a lot of card games. So
we're very aggressive.
And I know in Japan, at least for one of the other card games we do here on the channel, Weiss Wars, they play very slowly, very defensively. They don't play very many aggressive decks. They don't if you look at a Japanese tier list for Weiss Wars, you don't really find aggressive decks, regardless of how good the West may think that they are. Whether they are or they aren't, they just won't be there.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of the same for a lot of card games, actually.
Okay. I will make one exception for summons, like especially now with Neo X-Death floating around, with his popularity going to be on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm playing Earth, I am going to fish for a Fenrir.
For sure.
So that way I can at least clean him up if he ever does rear his head.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll fucking dump my hand to kill that card instantly if I need to.
Which I think that seems like a good transition now that we've brought him up.
I mean, yeah. So, meta hoops.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, the meta hoops are, I guess you can classify some of them as gatekeepers.
Yep.
I'm doing my jump rope.
Yeah, you have to jump through hoops, basically.
Can you do that, Travis?
I don't know.
If we built a circus, could you be the tiger that jumps through my fiery hoops?
No, I think it should be the other way around.
Fuck, our circus is doomed. Yeah. So our meta hoops. These are the cards, the decks that are going to be meta relevant, that are going to be the guys that you kind of want to play around, or you know that you're going to have to deal with in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
So, for instance, Neo X-Death.
Yeah.
Especially Turbo X-Death.
Yes.
For sure.
So, you're more on that. Is it just Sildra into X-Death?
So, the idea is either you Gabranth or you Sildra into X. Preferably, you want Gabranth because then it keeps you protected from Famfrit.
That's fair.
Or at least the 3-cost Famfrit, right? And you throw out Neo X-Death turn 1, and you ask your opponent to deal with it.
Yeah, the
If they
benefit
can't, you just build off.
the benefit you get from Sildra is that Sildra is actually just free because it costs 2 CP and it searches 2 cards.
It's 4.
Or it costs 4 CP and searches 2 cards. But yeah, it's basically free, so it's less of a hand tax than Gabranth is because you have to pitch 4 and he only grabs a card, and then you have to pitch the 6. So you have an extra card left in hand if you go the Sildra route, but you are less protected against stuff like Famfrit and even the opposing Neo X-Death.
Yeah. And so the thing there is that that's going to be like the new exciting thing. I think what's going to happen is people are going to get super bored of it very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So people are going to, because there is this build I saw, right? So the idea was that it's Earth Water. You played 3 Neo X-Death and you had 43 X-Bursts.
That's
so
actually hilarious.
You play 3 Titans, you play 3 Yojimbo, you play the Raw-Bonds, you play all the Earth removal because you have this giant 10k beat stick that unless your opponent kills it, they're just going to keep losing dudes.
Oh.
And it was so dumb to like see like the post that he put.
Yeah.
And people just got so frustrated because I mean He's insane.
Yep.
You go to kill him, and I'm like, I'll tighten him.
Does that deck also play the 7-drop that resurrects something?
Zero
based on your,
It
yes.
played it as a
Oh my god.
It was so dumb.
You just hit it
man.
on the experts.
The worst part is that they picked up a Porum with it, and they actually got to kill someone's like hound or something with it. It was so bad. It was a big yikes.
Yikes. Yeah, that's painful.
I can see people getting bored of that card, but like, or that type of deck.
I mean,
Because
the issue is like if if it's consistent enough and it functions and does its job properly, like people are still gonna attempt to play it.
well, and here's the other thing, right? Is that people are already anticipating it. So play more Fenrir, play Alexander, play because we've already touched that all the elements at least have some kind of out, right?
Yep.
Ice is just going to pick it out of your hand when they go first, right? And Fire has Cloud, and it also has the 2-drop Ifrit that can 10k if you discard an Ifrit, so you're still paying 4 to kill it. I mean, it's not that big a deal. Anything that allows you to plus off of the Neo X-Death, that deck is not going to last very long. Because what will happen is that they'll throw out X-Death, cool, kill it. And then when they throw that second X-Death, if you're able to eliminate it, you've basically taken them out of the game.
Their deck's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think so. So then you could say that people are preparing for it ahead of time.
So people are going to hard mulligan
Do you think
for it.
that card in general then is just gonna disappear for a bit instead of I guess this is the same question I posed with Amaterasu, right? We view Amaterasu as a threat.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
Amaterasu definitely is gonna be.
It destroys every fair deck
It's
out
gonna
there.
it's gonna exist. So what if people are already getting ready for those cards, and then those cards just kind of don't do shit because people are already prepared?
So I think that's not right, and here's why.
That's fair.
So just because people are preparing for a good card doesn't mean that the card should not see play.
Well, I'm not saying that it won't see play. I'm saying what if
you
it
just-
does see play and people realize that the card can't do anything because everybody's just ready for it?
Yeah, but a card,
question.
a good card is never going to not do anything unless your opponent is playing literal hard counters that say you cannot play the card. If your opponent's playing cards that counter the card, like cancel it, that's fine, because that means it's probably a one-time use thing and they're going to have multiples of it. Another thing is, I think people are going to realize that Neo X-Death is just like Veritas. It's very splashable. You can just throw it as a 1 or 2 of in almost every deck you play, and it'll just be good.
Yep.
You don't have to build your deck around it for it to be a good card.
The other thing I'd like to bring up also is that we're now entering into what I like to call they have it or they don't principle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that when you're playing Turbo X Death, is that you throw it out, and if they stop it, cool. If they don't stop it, you can essentially win in the next couple of turns.
Yeah.
Right? And with that in mind, if I was to play Turbo X Death, personally, I'm not going to, because I still think it's incredibly frail.
Yep.
And the idea behind it is that either I win in these 5 minutes. It's like when I was playing 50 Lightning Forwards, right? It's either I win in 5 minutes or I scoop it up and go use the bathroom.
Right.
So, and if I'm going to be going to an event, this is not a deck I would like to bring. If you're doing and here's the other thing too, right? Is if you try to bring this Neo X deck to locals, it's going to get to a point to where it's I don't really want to play this deck anymore because it's super boring.
Yeah.
For sure. Don't mind me. I forgot to put this on, but I know where we are.
So, another thing is, the way I see it, I think that this, X-Death Turbo concept is, kind of like Oops All Forwards.
It's a really good meme, but it won't get you very far.
No. It's a good deck to get to top 8.
Okay.
But then it's not amazing past that.
don't wanna
You
pay
should
past
not
that.
expect to win an event with the deck. You can expect to top 8, but you shouldn't expect to win with the deck.
Okay, fair.
Okay.
Because you'll run into a lot of matchups that you do just hard win in tournaments.
So you brought up one of you guys brought up Monoratsu, right?
Yeah, I did mention Amaterasu
Yep,
was
kick us
also one
off,
of the
Noah.
biggest threats. So, I played it a bit, but I didn't get to use it enough to see the full value of the
I
card.
got crushed.
Amaterasu definitely is a scary fucking card to deal with. For instance, me and Travis were testing games out, and I was playing my Fire Ice 6, and he was playing my Turks deck, and he threw out Rufus.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, we're just going to Amaterasu Rufus. Rufus gets his on leave effect. That's fine. He doesn't get to pick up a card. That's what was important.
Yeah.
He doesn't get to sack Rufus with Cloud to play a 5-drop. He then had to end up you sacked your Reno for Aerith to pick up Rufus again and play Rufus.
Yep.
Like you had to go through hoops to get Rufus back to play him.
Yep.
Right.
And then we dealt with Aerith the next turn, and then just dealt with Rufus as well.
So the way I see Amaterasu is that it is like the ultimate 2-for-1 card.
Yeah.
It is literally a card that will just blow you out of the water if you aren't playing around it. So there are a lot of forwards that have good ETB effects or good like auto abilities, but some of them require you to do things before you like proc those things. And so if you have to set up for those autos, then you will just get destroyed by Amaterasu because you set up and then you play the thing that finally gets your payoff, and then they just Amaterasu it, and you feel really sad.
Tells your tempo to go away.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right away. The two cards that I play that Amaterasu just completely punts to the other side of the world. Like it hasn't happened to me yet, thankfully, but Amaterasu-ing Shantoto, you lose.
Yeah.
Like, if you're trying to throw that Shantoto out to like save your bacon, Amaterasu stops it.
Yep.
There was a situation I was in.
So
Yeah, it stops any card. Doesn't need to 8K it if it's back. It just stops anything.
I know.
The fact that it hits characters is obnoxious. Like if it said forwards, it would still be really good, but it wouldn't be like amazing like it is, right?
It wouldn't be an actual counter spell, basically.
And here's what really sold me on the card, right? The fact that someone overpaid for an Amaterasu to stop my Agris, that already tells you that the card's bananas.
Yeah.
Right? Is that even like paying like a 4-cost Amaterasu is still good.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't feel like you're losing value because you're essentially canceling and pinging for 8.
Yep.
Yeah. Because what happened is that I had my Agris come out. She died to an Amaterasu. And the turn after, I was trying to play one of my searchers. That got Amaterasu. I was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
doomed.
If they hit you twice, it's rough.
Yeah. So that's why I was thinking for a deck concept for either Earthfire or some other variant that can like recur summons is how many times can I Amaterasu you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God.
That's why I think like give me a sec. I had the deck in mind and now I forgot. Mono Fire. I think because of Amaterasu, obviously we've talked about it, has gotten like tremendous support just from that card. The ability to ping your dude's stuff off board, and then if your opponent like plays something that should net them value to like try and get ahead of you, you can tell them no. It doesn't matter if you kill the card or not. You just have a card that says no.
The joke answer to answering Amaterasu is just playing cards that don't have autos.
I mean,
right?
Yeah.
The other thing with it also is, stuff like Zidane and things like the new Bell and perhaps Kate Sith, depending on like how advanced in the game that we are.
Yeah.
It's either they Amaterasu it so they don't show you their hand, or you just eat the Amaterasu, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then what's even better is that if you already have Cryle out, then you play their Amaterasu, and then they feel bad.
It's a funny catch-22. Like, for instance, Dragon Ball, when you talk about, like, the Kaitsa thing, Dragon Ball has a card that's Broly Retribution that says if your opponent has 2 energy up, look at their hand, rip a card out.
Okay.
When they have that 2 energy up, they're forced to play stuff like counterplays because it's usually multicolor. So they have to play whatever counterplay they have, so their energy's tapped and Broly's auto doesn't go off.
Oh, okay.
So like it's a way to force your opponent to either use the card or they just lose it.
That's fair.
And like either way, it feels bad. Just like when I don't know if it felt super bad, but when I hit Emperor on Y'shtola, like she breaks regardless. So
I mean, that
break
was
it to cancel her.
fine. Because that happens a lot, actually,
Yeah,
where
like-
your Stola is just going to die anyway, so you might as well sack it. Especially when it's like, I'm going to banish your Stola. It's like, okay, I guess I'll just sack it instead.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't feel particularly bad, because at least they were forced to kill the Stola and not something that actually mattered.
That's fair.
Yep. So that's why I think like the onset, like to get through the Amaterasu hoop, so to say, is Lail's an out, Edward's an out. If you want to go with Celeste is another way. The water summoner does it. The ice summoner does it. And I mean, if you want to go 7 could probably do it as well. Y'shtola is still really good at stopping it, right? Because it's still a summon.
Yep.
So yeah, like there's a few things in each of the elements that could like handle it.
Yeah.
But the question is like, are they played enough to a point where like you can at least see one to deal with it?
Edward's usually played as a 2 or 3 of in
That's fair.
decks that play ice, and
Silent Voice is a good ability.
or the other thing too is Bell also just Bell and hits cost 4 cards.
Bell does, yeah. Uses Zidane.
Yeah, Zidane works fine too.
They eat it.
Yeah.
They either use it there, which is
or
probably the best bet.
Your
or they,
Earth and your dude's bigger than Amaterasu is anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which is fine.
Yeah.
Unga bunga.
Yeah.
Big Earth boy.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
Travis, any other thoughts?
No, not really, but I think we can actually segue this into our last topic, because we were just talking about Neo Exdeath and Amaterasu, which I believe our last topic is hosers, right?
Hey, Hoser, you're going the wrong way. Hosers.
Commercial?
Last topic. Yeah, we got our commercial break, you dumb.
Oh, yeah, that's
Commercial
right.
break!
That is true.
Are you into cosplay? Looking to get into cosplay? Do you want to show up to events dressed as your favorite character? Well, then Cards Custom Build can help. Cards Custom Build builds everything from cosplay accessories like props, trinkets, or weaponry, all the way up to full-blown costumes. Do you want a cosplay made from perfectly flowing cloth? Or do you want rigid battle armor? Well, Cards Custom Build has you covered. Their work is guaranteed to make you the talk of the con. So go over to Cards Custom Build on either their Facebook or on their Etsy account. Links will be in the description down below. And make sure to mention TCG University sent you your way, and you'll get 5% off your entire order. Dex Protection is on a never-ending pursuit to create the highest quality storage and protection accessories. Their design and innovation comes from die-hard gamers and collectors just like you. So they know what you want in the products that you buy. They're constantly taking in feedback from their customers, and they have no plans to stop their innovations or their drive to refine their product until they are recognized as a leader in their industry. They make terrific products, all with the avid gamer and collector in mind. So go ahead, check them out. A link will be in the description down below. Are you looking to get a custom playmat? Well, then we suggest you check out inkedgaming.com. They've got custom playmats, dice bags, mouse pads, and so much more for your gaming needs. They've even recently added a stitched option to their playmats and mouse pads as well. Wow. Inked Gaming lets you play your game with your style. So if you want 10% off your entire order, use the code TCG University, all caps, no spaces at checkout. Help support us by customizing your game to your style.
Welcome back, guys. I enjoyed seeing, potentially, Tam's face. What about you guys?
Yes.
Pretty all right.
All right, good. I'm glad.
Pretty all right.
All right. So our third topic that we have currently is hosers.
Yup.
Travis, you threw this one out there, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you start.
So
off.
a hoser, at least in the Magic the Gathering dictionary, is a card that completely shuts down another card or group of cards just by existing.
So this would be things like Rest in Peace. This would be things like Torpor Orb.
Yep.
And Pithing Needle. I remember that's another really big
Grafdigger's Cage is another example of a good one.
Kind of digs a little bit into that like Silver Bullet category that we brought up before. But like these are cards that if your opponent decides to play them, especially in the game that we're playing, Final Fantasy, your deck just doesn't work. A good example of this is I actually brought him up a little bit, is the Dark Forecast Emperor. Action abilities your opponent control can't be activated.
Yeah, that's an example of a hoser that exists for sure.
Oh shit, yeah.
It's basically like you see this card in your opponent's discard or something, and you're immediately afraid of the card. So like, let's say I'm playing let's say I'm playing Oops All Forwards, and my opponent is, for whatever reason, I don't know why they would be, but they're playing Sid FFB. I for whatever reason break my Golbez into Sid FFB, and then it gets hosed because all of my dudes immediately die. Yeah. All of my dudes immediately die as they come in.
Or, they play Exodus and they name the number 2, which kills the majority of your forwards also.
Yeah. So stuff like that, that's what I would consider a hoser.
All right. So then, hoser cards. We've talked about Amaterasu in Neo Exdeath.
Yep.
New card this set to go off with would be Fenrir.
Yeah.
So thoughts on Fenrir?
That card hoses a lot of the good dark cards, and I believe the light cards. Is it light and dark?
It's light and dark.
Oh, it's light and dark? I thought it was just dark.
Fenrir is
Fenrir. You mean
Fenrir?
His French cousin.
Fenrir hits light and dark.
Oh, that's actually insane.
Yeah.
Your Aerith sucks dick. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So it hits light and dark forwards, which means it automatically hoses them. I think this is my favorite example of a hoser because it does other good things besides just hosing one demographic of things.
Yeah.
So that I think this is a really good example of
Fenrir targets the
modern
backups that cost 4 more, anything that can generically help you out.
So like Tyro, the fact that they play Tyro and you Fenrir it.
Xeno goes away.
I still stand on the Dark Emperor being like the best example of a hoser Because even though he's like an Opus 2 card, the fact that Y'shtola now has to sit on her hands and she can't do absolutely anything, or the fact that all of your backups with dual abilities do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And on top of that also is that, so like I can see like an interesting line where you play Emperor backed up with a Amateratsu.
Yeah.
Because if they try to auto Emperor, you just Amateratsu it and then he is safe.
God.
And,
I
like,
was just thinking about that. Like, what if they just
Opus
play...
2, yep, the Emperor. You just missed him.
What if
Go
they
right
just
there.
play the Dark
Oh,
Emperor?
that's Opus 5. You need Opus.
No!
You need.
Hold on, just do this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
right there. That's our boy.
Yep.
Oh my god, he's a 4-drop.
He
Yeah.
is a Ford.
Fucking 4-drop 8K. I forgot his 8K part.
Yep. Its characters opponent controls cannot use special or action abilities.
Yeah.
So
Just sit on. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so-
if you're playing like Mono Fire and you're playing a few dark cards, you just like, I guess I'll play the Emperor. Now you can't use activated abilities or special abilities, and I have this Amaterasu in my hand for your auto abilities.
yeah.
So it's
So
like,
he is like
Probably
he,
Emperor Gestalt into this one, honestly.
yeah.
I
That's,
don't see a reason not to, just because Emperor Gestalt breaks the character on play, and then you just play the Emperor and be like, ah.
I'm safe.
Yep.
You gotta moderate. You gotta try to do something. No, you're not, buddy.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, I think he's a very good example of a hoser, and he's one that a lot of people forget about.
Yeah.
Because he's Opus 2, right?
Yeah.
And
I have a foil copy of this actually. Now that
Throw
I
it
think
in a
about
deck,
it,
honestly.
Yeah.
You know how much that just shuts down Turks?
yeah, Cloud doesn't do it.
Cloud doesn't do shit.
Yikes! Yeah,
Rip the
that's
dream, dude.
That's really good.
So yeah, and I think you have to be especially careful with like your hosers and ensure that you're able to search for them because we've touched on this in a few of our other podcasts.
Yeah, or at
Is-
the very least, get them back some way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you know what's like in FF, what's the point in me playing my hoser if I can't find it? Mm-hmm. Right. So like the fact that I play Tyro, awesome. Go find him. I'm ready for you. And then you went wide on your board with action characters, and then Emperor says hi.
Yep.
Howdy.
And the best part about it is that when you play this Emperor, he doesn't open the stack, so your opponent can't interact with like summons or anything
Yeah, no,
like
because that's
that.
just a static ability that's
Yeah,
on there.
you just slip him out. That's all you do. Easy peasy.
On the stack, nah, dude.
No, he's just
You're done.
he's just slipping out.
Yeah, they have to wait until the next time they have priority.
Yep. And so I mean, this is my example for it. And
That's actually a really good example to throw in, though.
Yeah.
Thank you, Seth.
Absolutely.
I like that.
I forgot how
yeah.
nutty this card is.
Yeah.
Cherokee deck is playing this.
Yeah.
theirs is an auto, so
Well, I know
they get around. They get
they're
around. it.
fine. I'm just saying, like, I throw it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the key thing for hosers, like I mentioned, is like you got to be able to find them, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to get this card out like in time against when you want to like stop.
Yeah.
The action ability.
So like,
So Sildra can search out Neo X Death.
sure can.
yeah.
You can play Vermilion, Lassie, or you can play Saz, and they'll search out Amaterasu.
Nope.
Even though you probably don't want to use Vermilion, Lassie, but like honestly, use it and then pick it up with Terra or something.
Well, I mean, if you want to get memey with it, you can Tama her in.
I mean,
Yeah.
You want to pay 8 CP to do it, sure.
That-
And then you play a Amateratsu for 8 CP. I mean, if you really want to get memey with it.
God, that is an actual meme. Oh my god.
Fenrir. What would Fenrir have that can search him out?
Rydia.
Rydia, yeah. She searches.
I thought
Earth
Rydia
summons.
searches.
Summons.
Oh, you're talking about okay.
The 3-drop Rydia finds summons.
Yep.
The forward.
Back
no,
up.
backup. 3-drop Earth Rydia. Find
All
summons.
right, give me a sec. I'm trying to make sure I'm thinking of the right Rydia.
There's also one with an EX burst that I believe searches.
Picks up an Earth summon, yep.
Yeah,
This one?
that searches Earth
No,
No,
summons.
no,
that's
no,
the
no,
forward.
no,
Okay,
no.
good.
You're looking for the Opus 2 one right there. The hero.
No, don't look at me. Just click search.
There you
God.
go. Yep, that's your one.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yep, and the worst case scenario is that she can discard that Fenrir and 7k the board of all forwards except Earth forwards.
Yeah.
As bad as an ability as that is.
Yep.
I mean, hey, 7k, dude. Hits whole board. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, so then, like, you had, and I had, the idea for Mist Dragon as well.
Yeah. Rydia also searches Mist Dragon.
So we're
Well,
good
I mean, they're
there.
both from the same game. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Is there only one Mist Dragon?
Yes.
Yes.
There's currently only one.
Oh,
Yeah.
card's so good.
But
Mist Dragon,
The third ability is usually why.
remove all cards in your opponent's break zone, draw a card.
Yep.
Yeah.
What recursion? Choose forward you control. Dulite doesn't receive any damage this turn. I'm just going to play Cockatrice. But choosing a summon a cost 5 or less and canceling its effects is really good.
Is
too.
now
cost.
even a lot more relevant with a
The first and
Amaterasu.
third options are generally where you're going to be fishing
Yeah,
for.
you're never going to use that second option.
For the most
There's no
part, yeah.
reason to if you have like Cockatrice, for instance. Or even Titan. Titan does the same thing.
I actually had a game where like I held on to Mist Dragon for too long trying to save my Kadaj
Yeah.
when I probably should I needed to accept my losses and use it for the remove from break zone effect.
Oh yeah.
It was the duel that I had with Byron
Dude,
before
that
I
was
played
so
Seraphy.
spicy, though.
Yeah.
Basically what happened is that I removed Byron's break zone from the game and then I played Seraphy and I'm like, I got a forward and you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was kind
Byron
of
had Braska in there.
That
and
was really good.
Kadaj couldn't get rid of Braska at that point. And I was just like, what is he
Yeah.
going to do? And he played Mist Dragon. And I was just like, holy shit!
Yeah, that was so that was so good.
Oh,
I
boy.
remember that.
Yeah, this is one. The issue with like having summons as hosers is again like searchability is an issue. Like Rydia is your main one that does it.
Yeah.
I mean, Moogle will do it if you have another copy of Moogle 11.
Yeah.
But the problem is that now you have to have a copy of Moogle 11,
Yeah.
and that's
That
more.
card used to be very. I used to see that card a lot at like our locals, and then it just kind of died down because it just seems like you're
Fiona's
wasting
better
too much.
now.
Yeah.
The fact that I can just pay for and search for a character, it's better than me having to ensure I get an exact copy
Yeah.
of that Moogle.
The one reason I would see for the Moogle is that you can play Moogle Brothers to make it tap for any color, which
That's
is
fair.
actually kind of relevant now that we have a bunch of
Yeah,
multicolored
Moogle
stuff.
FFCC.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, yeah.
So then we have Kadaj was also the one that we wrote down.
Oh yeah, Kadaj like
Kadaj still sitting there?
He eats through so many fair decks
Yep.
because
Talk about the ice one, right? I'm just kidding.
well, I mean the ice one's still really good because if you do remnants, the fact that turns 1, 2 through 4 you just freeze your opponent's backups
Yeah.
is really awkward, and then you just stun them out.
But yeah, the Dark Kadaj not
He
only is
solos games.
yeah, he definitely does. He is super hard to remove. He's really big on offense. Like he deals with your opponent's break zone.
He just does so much
He taps
shit for
threats.
such a
He
cheap
literally
cost.
does everything.
Like
he
when I
just
when I
does it.
played my Fire Lightning deck that only had 7 forwards, he was one of them because of how hard he was to kill.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's just free damage.
Yep. He is the freeness.
Yep.
So we discussed the hosers. Now it's time to discuss the bitches that get hosed.
Yep.
So, Layla Viking,
Yeah. So
which
Layla,
already
here.
we're
That-
already pretty sure that Layla
So
Viking.
that right there is a reason that Layla Viking doesn't exist anymore.
yeah,
you just call
Kadaj.
Viking, or you just remove Viking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another
Either
reason
one works.
is Amaterasu on Layla is backbreaking because it's it's like a 3-for-1 or something because they had to pitch 2 to play it. They had to play the Layla and then it just dies.
Yup.
So yeah, they actually got 3-for-1. Yeah. So that's another reason why it doesn't really exist anymore.
Well, and the other thing now is that because we have Dusk, who's a 7K, that for 1 extra, he does what Layla does.
Except kind of better.
Yeah, because he lets you hit any 3-drop forward,
Yeah.
especially with Alphanod, which lets you search a character. So developing 2 7Ks and you search a character off of it's really, really, really
Did
good.
I hear Dusk into Alice into Alphanod, right?
No, you get 3 forwards for 4, which is really good.
Yeah.
And you get a
Yes.
character off of it.
But why do it that way when you can just play the Zagarath?
Zargaba?
Zargaboth.
Yeah.
And do it for 3. We already mentioned that, but I just thought it was
Yeah.
funny. Layla Viking, done, easy.
Yep.
Fucking get clapped, little girl. All right, Rampier actually gets hit now.
Yep.
With
Amaterasu
Amaterasu,
is
yep.
actually an answer to Rampier now.
Yep, because you try to do your auto off your forward or you try to auto with Rampier and then nothing happens.
Yep.
So
Like-
the thing that I think is going to be really backbreaking is that if you can find a way to play Unaleska and Amaterasu in the same deck, having a 2-cost Amaterasu sounds insane. Like straight up.
Yeah.
So, the only reason I ever remember this card is because you play it occasionally. Yagrosh can just tell Amaterasu to choose him instead, right?
No.
no.
Because
Okay.
he does not have an auto.
Yeah.
He's a stat.
It's not a legal target.
I guess it has to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair.
So-
it has
just
to
wanted
be
to
a
double
legal
check.
target.
Yeah, so like if I try to like Archer, I have to hit Yagrosh, right? But if I Amaterasu, I have to hit a legal target. Right?
And Wait, so how does that work with Fail Thanos? Because he does have technically an auto.
So here's what happens, right? Is that Amaterasu, you're not targeting Fail Thanos, you're targeting his auto ability.
Yeah.
So he still takes 8k.
But he's a 9K, isn't he?
Yeah, and if you're playing,
But does he also redirect? Is more what I'm talking about. Like, does he redirect the ability if it's targeting one of your other things?
so the thing with that is that you're targeting the auto ability, you're not targeting the forward. So I do think it gets around Fail Thanos.
Summons their abilities of your opponent must choose Fail Thanos if possible when Fail Thanos is chosen. Yeah, so it's not choosing him, it's choosing his ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he
Which
eats,
is awkward as that is because Final Fantasy is actually very technical.
Yeah. Very weird wording.
They don't let you get away with a lot of shit.
Yeah, and like if you already have Vermilion Lassie out, like Amaterasu like dodges under Fail Thanos' protection.
Yeah.
And then he just gets smoked.
Yep.
Man, I remember this card was super cool and I pulled it in a pre-release kit. Felt good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, trying to play him in pre-release. Good luck trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Right.
Straight up.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing with, because we were talking about, mentioned Layla Viking, and then
Well, we can already say Agris died.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, I can tell you from firsthand experience, Agris does not survive Amaterasu.
So,
Period.
Wind Water.
We will, yeah.
Do you think... I mean, Amaterasu can hit that. We know Amaterasu can hit just about anything.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Do you think Neo X Death is like the one big trump card, like hoser against Wind Water? Because they have to set up and play shit, and if they're not able to keep anything on board, their setup just kind of falls.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing, right? Is that the way that YRP wins is that they get the unfair combo of Fina, Valifor, Fina,
Yeah.
and then they sweep your board. So, like, if you're YRP and you're able to get to, like, 3 or 4 backups before Neo X Death's actually out, there is the level of feasibility that you can Fina, Valifor, Fina,
Yep.
and then not worry about Neo X Death. The problem is that if they get him out before you get to, like, 2 backups, then it's going to be that uphill climb
Yep.
of trying to get him off board. I mean, if you Fanford it, sure, but there are actually a lot of YRP decks that are actually steering away from Fanford because Marsh Ritz exists, and that if you try to like Fanford that, what'll end up happening is they'll just have Marsh die, and then they can wait until next turn for Ritz,
Yeah.
right? So like you stun Ritz for like a turn, but you still haven't dealt with Ritz. And so what YRP has actually done is that they went kind of like the turtle up route and went for like 33, 34 EX bursts as opposed to trying to like proactively handle Marsh Ritz. And they're playing 5-drop Yuna over the 2-cost one because EX burst and it RFGs, right?
Yep.
And it, again, YRP, just like Rampiers, dropped down to tier 2 because, you know, Proskus Final Aeon, Neo X Death, all of these cards you have to deal with now are 10Ks.
Yeah.
And you can only Valifor twice.
Yep.
Well, realistically, you Valifor
Realistically,
twice.
I obviously Amaterasu's got to hit like Fina.
Yeah.
Plain
I mean,
and simple.
Fina survives, but
her
at
auto
what,
will
at
go
what
off.
cost?
Yeah, like is it really worth doing all that to realize your opponent was like, I'm gonna pay 3 and say no?
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, God, that's gotta fucking suck if that happens. You're like, I'm gonna kill him. I've never seen an Amaterasu this entire game. I'll be fine. And they're like, Tyro.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is that I'm going to play Mono Earth and then have Amaterasu in my hand.
Yeah, like,
And then my
never
opponent's
know.
going to do a thing. I'm just going to dab.
hey, look at this Tyro. Hey, he's any color.
So I think there's something that I've been experimenting with that I actually want to like test out.
Right.
I've been thinking about shoving or putting the YRP package into like a 3 to 4 color deck because I realize that you only really need the 2 backups in order for your like broken loops to start going off.
Essentially.
So you can just build other like multicolored backups outside of your like 2 main backups, and then you're just off to the races because now, okay, well, I'll play this Valifor, I'll untap all of my multicolored backups, and then I'll use them to cast big broken stuff.
Yeah, so like you could splash Earth and do like a 3-color YRP list with like Tyro, and then that just is another card that gets you pain.
Yep,
So
that is
I
very
could
true.
see it.
Yeah.
My new prison is pain. So with Neo X Death again, so I'll move to aggro as well. So we have YRP and aggro. I'm gonna lump them both together on this one. So I think with Neo X Death, what he does that hoses them down is the fact that A, they have to deal with that card or B,
And they have to play 2 cards every turn.
Yeah.
or they have to keep playing shit to try and keep up with it, and it becomes too taxing.
Yeah.
It's really funny that one card can tax your opponent so much currently. I mean, like, obviously, like, Seth had a chance to do it because he makes a pitch 2 and shit, but
Seth is going to hate this example.
La 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 la. I can't hear you.
But it honestly hoses aggro decks in kind of the same way that the 5-drop Vayne does. Because they have to answer it, and if they don't answer it, they just lose the game immediately. But with Neo X-Death, it's a bit more of a slow burn. If they don't answer it, they have a chance, but the game is so much harder.
yeah. But the problem is if they
I
attempt
see
to
it as
answer
inverse.
So here's the funny thing too, because Neo X Death also has that bottom line of text that says, "Oh, you
Braska.
targeted me." Bam, lose something else. So like the problem is in the process of trying to of get rid of it, you're losing your resources, or you can try and outbuild in resources to keep up.
And you
like,
lose one.
You just you don't get anywhere. It stagnates your deck.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that, but like the core concept is there because a lot of the times I would rather just kill their Neo X Death and lose a thing than just lose the game.
Well, yeah.
So like it's the same concept at a base level because if they don't kill the Vayne, they also just lose the game.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. I yawn
No,
a
you're
lot every fucking time.
But
I'm just not getting enough.
yeah,
options.
so I definitely think that Neo X Death completely hoses aggro decks because first off, most aggro decks really aren't playing amazing removal in the first place because they have to jam a lot of like redundancy pieces.
And good luck getting over a 10K.
Yeah.
Zidane. You have to figure out a way to get Zidane to get past him. But Zidane,
Which one?
the 1-drop Fire Haster.
The 2-drop Fire Haster.
Oh, is he 2? Okay, yeah, 2-drop.
Well,
Fire
he
Haster.
does
You
8.
pitch a card.
Well, he does 8. Congratulations. He's
8's
still-
close enough.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's
And then you
not.
lose a character.
Yeah, no. That's
8's
awful.
close enough.
No,
That's awful.
It's bad.
Get out of here.
It's bad.
Lava Spider. They'll never block with their dude again.
No.
No, that's
Stop it.
Think about it. They
Stop.
don't want to block. They want. Listen. It doesn't need to be good, but if you think about it, if like let's say it's a Neo X Death deck and that's like their crux of their deck, and you play a Lava Spider, what are they gonna do? Block with it and lose the game? I'm down.
all right, but
They just sacrificed Lava Spider to New X Death.
yeah,
But Lava
but
Spider doesn't target Neo X Death.
Yeah, but unless you build another character out, you gotta pop it.
yeah.
Well, I mean, sure. Who cares?
You
They either block with it or they take the point of damage. I don't fucking care.
all right.
might as well play Mirror at that point and make it an 11k Lava Spider. You
Nice.
God, that's so awful. Why are you giving? We're supposed to be bringing good information to the people, not memes.
I'm the
okay?
vice captain of the fucking meme squad here. Don't talk to me like you understand what goes on in my brain.
Anyway,
All right.
back on track.
Yep.
Braska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We put that down here as a loser.
Yes, because he gets hosed by Neo X Death if they don't play another character, and even if they do,
It's the Veritas
Yeah.
problem.
yep,
the Veritas
it's
problem.
the Veritas problem.
What's the Veritas problem for all those people that don't know?
So basically, Veritas against Braska is what?
Oh, are
No,
you
I'm
agreeing with
I'm
him?
just putting the
Oh,
one
okay.
finger up as
Yeah,
an
okay, we're
example.
good.
No, I'm just going along with him.
Yeah. So the problem with Braska and the Veritas problem is that if you don't play another dude, your Braska just dies to Veritas, and it's the exact same concept with Neo X Death. Although I will say it is a little bit easier to play around the Neo X Death.
At least you have a backup.
Yeah, because, well, it's also at the end of your turn compared to at the end of your opponent's turn. Like, if Neo X Death said at the end of, like, their turn, you had to pop something, it would be a lot harder to play around
Yeah,
because...
he'd be a slower Veritas at that point.
Yep. So, that's why I say it hoses, but, like, if you play well, it's not exactly a hoser.
So yeah, the thing is that there was a meme I saw from MogPod that the first panel says, all right, the people didn't like Braska's Final Aeon. What do we do? First guy says, let's make him more toxic, Braska's Final Aeon. The second one says, let's make him dark, by the way. And the third guy says, let's make counters to Braska's Final Aeon. And he gets thrown out the window.
Oh, I love those meme formats.
Because, I mean, essentially the idea was that, people went along with Process Fire Aeon and they gobbled it up like candy, right? So because now the players have communicated to Squeenix and Hobby Japan and stuff, right? That we like forwards that if they get targeted, they take something with them. That is what we were
Or
communicating.
they get me some amount of value, like
Yeah.
Emma Selge,
Yeah.
which is another good example of a forward getting targeted and getting you value.
Yeah. Although if you target him with Flandit for the rest of his life, he's going to be stuck in that perpetual loop.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
It's just so cool. Fuck.
Yeah.
In space.
Space.
Yep.
So we had Braska. I'm pretty sure we touched Marguerites there. So that
Yeah, Amaterasu just straight donks.
fucking
Yeah.
sums up our loser section.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we do have the extra here. Damage pressure.
Mhm.
In terms, what do you want to leave your opponent at? When do you think it's a good time to go in? Because sometimes you get to that point where you're like, my opponent's playing Marguerites. I'll leave him at 2. But you can't yet get to 7, so you have to push a bit further. Where do you feel comfortable just stopping?
Okay, so the way that I see it, right, and I was the one that kind of brought this up. So if I keep you on damage 2, at that point, the second we cross that threshold of 3, I am racing you
Yeah.
at that point. Because if I'm already at damage 3, damage 4 at that point, there's a good likelihood that Reets will cheese me.
Yeah.
And especially if I'm on 6 points of damage and I finally get you to 2, that's the threshold in which, like, I have to get you to 5. Like, that is a big jump I have to take to try to take this game over. Or else, straight up, I get dunked out by Ritz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, the more I think about Marguerites, the more I think it plays like Infect. It's kind of just like, well, I have to race you, and if I'm not racing you, then I should not be, like, messing with you at all. I
Yeah.
should be trying to, like, disrupt you more than, like, actually damage you.
Yeah, because you can realistically deck out Marsh Reds. And
Yeah.
the other key thing you have to think of also is that roughly 3 out of the 5 major Marsh Reds decks only have 3 shots of Marsh.
Yeah.
Now, Earth Fire Marsh Reds can go like 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Realistically, you'll see it 4 times, as opposed to most others that do it 3 times.
Yeah.
But they hit the realistic of like twice. If you can get through 3 Marsh Reds, you're generally okay.
Terra Searcher summons.
She does, but no one really plays her.
No,
because
because
people
like-
play the Fire Terra.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'd rather pitch my summon and pick it back up than
Search for one.
search for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Very true.
so we already talked about Marsh Fritz damage being on 2. The other one to kind of be mindful of also.
Squall.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out.
No, Ice Squall.
I think Ice Squall is like Ice's best. Besides Emmett Selch being a thing now.
Damage
I
5
think Ice Squall
stabilizes so
fucking
hard.
scares the shit out of you, dude.
Yeah.
Like paying that Squall off
I
of
was
backups.
so pissed I was at damage 4 when I
Yeah.
played it.
Yeah.
I was like, we're gonna fuck him. Aw, I still get 2 effects. It's fine.
Getting to damage 5 with ice, literally the amount of times I've played like Ice X decks, which for those who don't know, it's just ice plus another color, so Ice X. Literally just the amount of times that you get to damage 5 and you're just like, okay, the game is in my hands now.
Yeah.
Because you have Squall, you have things to blink Squall, and you're just like, my opponent doesn't get to do anything for the rest of the game unless they play Hasters, in which, okay, I'll just blink it on your turn. That's fine. It's like, works for me.
Yep. And the other part with that is that Squall is that card that, like, he's okay with you getting beat up, or like you enable the damage with like Kuja and like Dataluma and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So situations like you said, like damage 4, I'll push myself to 5, and it's like, cool, now I develop 2 8Ks and I kill a dude and I freeze one of your dudes, and then I also put one of your dudes sideways so I can deal a point of damage back to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Hella hard.
Any amount of fire, I'm mindful of damage, because the further up you go, as you don't see clouds, it gets worse and worse.
Yep.
Right? Because I've had clouds hit for 8 to 9, and it just straight runs the game back after that point.
It feels really bad to just like, I hit them for a bunch and now they're at 5 damage. Oh shit, their cloud just killed my dude
Cloud just killed my dude.
for free.
Yeah, just straight blasts, right?
Yeah.
I always
Cecil's
think,
the other deal there also.
oh,
Oh,
Cecil's fun.
Because damage 1, okay, that's fine, I sleep. But then, like, when you get to damage 5 and you
So,
hit Cecil, it's like real, though.
what
It
I think-
actually slaps.
What I and let me double check this card. Actually, give me one sec.
Which card?
I want to look at this boy.
The active VV.
Yeah, the lightning Cecil, but it's VV.
Yeah.
This boy. I think personally, this card is way better. Only because a lot of your opponent's shit that they want to attack with at this point, to my knowledge, has Brave. Like the good shit that you want to deal with has Brave. VV can hit it.
Yep. My issue with it is people play stuff main phase 2.
That's fair.
Yeah.
People
So-
do. Well, smart people play stuff main phase 2.
Yeah. So my
Bad people play stuff just outright and go.
Not me.
My other issue with it is that any extra copies you draw of Cecil just turn into another break.
Yeah. Embrace the dark.
Yeah.
Embrace the dark.
Like
No, I say that every time I play because, like, again, he's a Dark Knight. So,
Yeah.
like, he self-damages himself because he's deep and angsty and stuff
yes,
like that.
like I will.
You literally kill people with angst.
Yeah, I will absolutely take my damage to break your forward
Yeah.
when I draw an extra copy.
Turks likes to be at damage 3.
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's when
Tifa.
goes off.
Oh, I hate that card so much.
Hey, you played it.
I know
It
it
worked.
works so.
Hey,
It just
Tifa shuts down one of the best cards that I have now realized in my 6 deck, which was the Emperor.
yeah.
So
I couldn't hit any of your dudes.
the super, super, super niche damage, right, is damage 6 against lightning. RNA is Y.
Yeah.
Because if your opponent stabilizes on damage 6, you should lose.
Yeah.
Like, they straight up donk you.
And even another thing against Turks or just 7 in general, once they get to damage 5, they have Vincent.
Yeah.
And that card is actually crazy once
So,
you get to damage 5.
I think the cool thing,
If you get to turn him sideways.
I'm gonna toot my horn
yeah.
just slightly a bit with that deck is like, at least with Turks, you have your early and mid game stuff, which you can just play out the entire Turks lineup and go back and forth with that. And then you have, man, this is getting rough. I'll just play Vincent. Okay. Understand. Travis is going to bed, guys. He's a loser. Get out of here. You have your curfew. Get out of here.
Uh-huh.
But no, seriously though, I think Vincent's super good because you're able to like grab and just hold on to Vincent if you need to, or pick up Vincent with like Aerith and whatnot.
Yeah, but he needs haste. Like, the problem
Vincent
when you
not
play
having
that
haste is an
Vincent,
issue, so you have to play him a turn before you want to actually do anything.
Yeah, and then you have to like squeeze your butt cheeks
And hope he just lives.
and hold a penny
Well,
between your cheeks.
Technically, you wouldn't have to though, because if you're already at that damage spot, or like they hit you there and then they attempt to deal with him, you just use his ability.
Well, you're all like, I'm gonna chaos him twice, and I'm like, sick, kill him, and then you discarded 3 cards for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, so
And I 4-for-1 you. That's amazing.
the cool thing I think about the Vincent is like it's not hard, especially in 7 with stuff like Aerith, the light one that picks up 2 7s.
Yeah.
It's not hard to just sit there and be like, okay, I have an Aerith, I have a Vincent. All right, well, now you have to break my Vincent, which you can't break because of Aerith, or you have to run into my dude and hope that I don't have the chaos for special, and then if you try to cancel it with a Matarasu, I can just do it again because I picked up 2 off of my Aerith. And then I don't die, and I get a first strike your dude down, and then kill you next turn.
And fun fact about that Vincent, when you stack it on him, they're separate instances.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
it's
I
not
know.
like one lump one. It's like 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
So like if they Mataratsu 1, they still have to deal with 4.
yeah. So it's like, okay, cool.
Don't mind me. I'm just looking at Warrior Light shit too.
Yep. So I think that about wraps it up for tonight,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
I think so.
Yeah, I
I
think
think that was. I think that was good. I like that.
This one was a pretty quick, simple one, but I think we got everything across really well.
Yeah, which I'm glad actually. That was very nice.
Yeah, we're not just wasting time stalling out, going, "I heard dirt. My name's James. I suck." Continuing, Travis, any final thoughts?
No, I think I got everything out that I needed to say during this
You
podcast.
scream and shout and let it all out.
Yep.
That's old.
That
I mean,
is
yeah,
so
but like
old.
he kind of gave it to me. I'm not gonna not take that.
Yeah.
Zeth, any last minute decisions, topics,
Yeah,
concerns?
I'm really having to adjust to Mataratsu. Like, that is, like, everyone's focusing on Neo X Death. My focus is going to be on a Mataratsu.
Yeah.
So, like, if you see any inkling of fire or some way of playing fire, the 2 cards to jump out against there are Lanny and Amaterasu.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
I think you guys have summed everything up I would need to say.
Fair enough.
There's a reason I let you guys talk more than me. It's because you guys have a better conversation than I do with anybody. That's why we're the hosts, because we don't talk much. Other than that, though, I hope you guys actually enjoyed. Be sure to check us out next time. I know I will be here. Travis should be here for a bit.
Absolutely.
Zeth will be here.
Absolutely.
For the extra live stream. So be sure to check that out. We'll probably have, I will have a brand new spanking deck because I've been preaching the holy gospel of Shikari.
I will hopefully have a new deck.
I will have, at the very least, 3 new decks.
Solid. You guys are going to get introduced to new shit.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Later, homies.
Sayonara.